Hello everybody, my name is Dragon. Welcome back my channel Health Fitness 1047. Here is the episode new. Follow me.
The damned and isolate life of serial killer Rose West in prison 3 decades after being sentenced to life in prison for a series of gruesome crimes with her husband Fred West. Serial killer Rose West now lives alone in New Hall Women's Prison in West Yorkshire. Now over 70 years old and renamed Jennifer Jones, Rose lives quietly in her cell, knitting and watching nature documentaries. According to sources in the prison, Rose has almost no friends, often talks to the TV alone and is shunned by other prisoners despite her attempts to befriend them by giving them gifts. However, no one can forget her past, the woman convicted of raping and murdering at least 12 young women with her husband, including her biological daughter Heather West and her husband's stepdaughter Charmaine West. 1. Evil incarnate Fred West were not just a murderous couple, they were a horrifying symbol in the history of British crime. For 20 years. From 1967 to 1987, their house at 25 Cromwell Street, Gloucester became a living tomb, burying a series of victims, most of them young girls, maids, and even their own children. Not only did they kill, the couple also physically and mentally tortured their victims before killing them. Their sickness was so bad that it could not be explained by normal criminal psychology. This was a distorted ideology maintained in the family. Where both husband and wife encouraged each other to commit crimes as a ritual. 2. One dead, one alive, but the life of a ghost. Fred West committed suicide in prison in 1995, avoiding justice. Leaving Rose alone to serve a life sentence. Although she is no longer hounded by the media as often as before, Rose's life in prison is still remembered as an unhealed wound of society. Although she changed her name, Rose could not change her identity in the eyes of her fellow inmates. She was not beaten or punished, but absolute isolation was the harshest punishment of life. Ignored, feared, despised, every day was a silent gnawing. 3. Was there real remorse? Or just an empty existence? Rose's knitting, watching nature documentaries, and trying to befriend people with gifts could be signs of absolute loneliness, or a psychological escape from a terrible past. But what makes people suspicious is that there has never been a public apology from her. There is no memory of remorse. No attempt to make amends to the victims' families. Rose West lived as if she were enduring the life of a forgotten person, while she herself was the cause of many lives being buried anonymously. 4. Justice, sometimes not death. But living to gnaw. Rose's imprisonment for 3 decades was not simply a criminal sentence. It was a moral sentence, where the name Rose West became a symbol of corruption. And she herself was a living witness to that breakdown. In prison, no one needed to touch her, because Rose's existence itself, with all that she had done, was the most painful self-punishment. Alone, no friends, no relatives, no future. The price of evil does not always come from the sword of the law. Rose West was not executed. She did not die in a court of law. But she lived in a hell that no one else but herself had created. Within the 4 walls of the prison. Every minute that passes is a reminder of the 12 innocent lives that were lost forever at her hands. Rose's story is a chilling testament. Evil, once it reaches its limits, will be paid for not by punishment, but by being wiped out of humanity, no one wants to remember, and no one dares to forget.